Hello viewers, I'm Mr. Chidebere Moses with Insights Care magazine. We are a global magazine based out of Dublin, Ohio, and we have our operational presence also in India. And we are very happy today to be with Mr. Martin Peters. And he's one of the masters of recovery at Saman Pan, right?
Samarpan.
Samarpan,
Yes.
yes. Samarpan, you've already heard about it. It's one of the leading addiction treatment centers in the city of Pune. Pune is one of the biggest cities in India, actually.
Yeah.
In Maharashtra state.
Yes.
India. So, if you stay with us, going on through the interview, you're going to learn a lot about Samarpan, Mr. Martin Peters, and a lot of things from his 25 years of working full time and coming up to establish one of the best facilities you can ever go to for anything rehabilitation, addiction treatment, and mental health wellness. So let's get on with the interview. Are you ready? Yeah, they're ready.
I'm ready.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Peters. How are you doing today?
Well, please, firstly, call me Martin.
Okay, Mr. Martin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, and welcome to Samarpan.
Yes, welcome to Sam. And he said it by himself. I used to hear about some like, if you want your business to grow, there's one strategy they say you have to be the brand ambassador of your business. And being a brand ambassador of your business, he's already showing it us to us. He said, welcome to what?
Samarpan.
Yes.
Welcome to Samarpan.
Yes. So tell our audience who is Mr. Martin Peters, your relationship, starting out with your business, the background, what inspired you to pursue the career in this particular niche, addiction treatment.
It's a long story. I mean, it's a really long story. So I think that the journey sort of started back in the 90s. So I started in 1991 studying social science, social policy. Wanted to train as a social worker, but I was a little bit too young. I ended up then moving into training as a nurse. So I trained as a nurse in the early 90s, mid 90s, and qualified around about 1998. I qualified. In that time, I moved into working in psychiatric settings. So I worked in prisons, secure units, community nursing, and psychiatric admissions. So I spent a lot of time in that sort of area. I moved to Thailand. So I moved to Thailand in around about 2005. And initially I was just doing some consult work and some general sort of type of work there. I happened to get involved with the first treatment centre that set up in Thailand. It was the first international treatment centre in Thailand. And I was part of that. I started there in 2007. And over that period of time, from 2007, I took over the running of that centre in 2010. And we built that up as it was the largest centre in Thailand up until around about 2015. And I moved on. I moved on from there and set up a new organisation. I was a founder, part owner of Lana Healthcare in Chiang Mai, and we opened at the end of 2015. And subsequently, we built that business. We were the largest pre-COVID. We were the largest private provider in Southeast Asia. We had 3 centres. And obviously COVID sort of came along and sort of changed everything in some ways. Yeah. So interestingly, I sort of was going back to Thailand. I'd gone back to the UK just during COVID for around about 10 months, because there was the borders were closed in Thailand, etc. So I went back to the UK for about 10 months, did some work in the healthcare setting throughout COVID, which was quite challenging, but was really interesting. I got a phone call. I think it was around about May 2021, and I got a phone call. Actually, no, I didn't get a phone call. I got an email, and it said, "Would you be interested in coming to work in India?" And I was like, anyway, it sat in my box, in my mailbox for a few days, and I was like, I don't know. Anyway, I responded, popped an email across. I said, "Yeah, sure. Let me, we'll have a chat." So we had an initial conversation. And anyway, they said, "Can we do an interview?" So like a proper interview. So my interview, interestingly enough, I was sat in quarantine in Bangkok. So I was in a 14-day quarantine in Bangkok at the time. So I did my online interview in quarantine. Anyway, we had the interview. And about a couple of days later, they sort of connected me, and we had another discussion, and they offered me the organisation, which is MSPL, which is the large group of companies. They offered me the position. So I sort of got home and sort of got back to my house, and I sort of said to my daughter, "Well, I've been offered a job in India, so it looks like I'm off. It looks like I'm off to India." And she was like, "Oh, again, Dad." So yeah, I took the job, and I moved here eventually got here at the end of 2021. Was meant to come here at September, but I think there was lockdowns and COVID issues. It was just So we got here, and it was a case of setting this up, setting it up from scratch. So this whole facility, previously it was a resort. So we had to adapt it and change it, and obviously make the adjustments, recruit the staff, etc., etc. So it was really something like starting right from the beginning,
From the scratch again.
which is something that I've done. This is the 6th program that I've opened.
So you already have the experience.
So I've got the experience. I'd probably say that probably one of the things that I'm probably really good at doing is setting up rehabs. I'd probably say that's one of my niche things. So that's what we've done. So I've been here now.
And you're really doing a good job here now.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. This is one of the most interesting fields of work to be involved in, and over the years, obviously, as well as being a registered nurse, I've trained as a substance abuse therapist. I've trained as a cognitive behaviour therapist. I've trained as a relapse prevention specialist. And I'm continuing to build up my skills. I'm doing my EMDR at the moment. So, it's an ongoing educational journey as well for me. It's not, I'm not just a director of a service. I'm a clinician as well. So I understand the business and operational aspects of this, but I also understand the technicalities of clinical. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Now, you mentioned you worked with psychiatrists, or
Yes.
it had something to do with prisons? Or?
Yeah, I worked in a variety of settings. When you train as a nurse, you're very adaptable in terms of where you can work. And, psychiatric services are required in many settings. So, I had the opportunity to spend some time working in the prison system, also with in forensic mental health, which is, the criminally, I guess the easiest way would be for lay people would be, the criminally insane. So, people with mental health issues that are offending, basically, is the problem.
That's actually the extensive version of this work.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
You
You say it's interesting. I agree with you already.
Yeah, well, and I was lucky, as well. I went back and I worked in community psychiatric services for a couple of years. And I worked on a pilot project which was in the NHS, which they eventually rolled out nationwide.
You had something to do with NHS? Or?
So I'm ex-NHS. I'm a very much an NHS person. Yeah. So and the NHS is such an important organisation and institution in the UK, and I'm proud to be proud to have been part of
I
that.
know that very
Yeah.
well. I know that. My friend works there.
Yes.
So it's very interesting
Yeah.
to hear that you are ex-NFL.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. So before we proceed, we always talk about team because for any company to exist, there has to be a team. There has to be people. And I noticed that you have something to do with staff training, and one of your staff is what's his name?
Obi.
Obi.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Just tell us your relationship with Obi and how you guys have grown to become leaders in addiction treatment.
Okay, so I've known Obi a long time. I think I was saying to you a little bit earlier, I think it's probably a good sort of around about 15, maybe about 15, 16 years, something like that. It's a long time. We were, we sort of crossed paths over the years. We've been, the same conferences. We know, the same people. The field of substance use disorder or addiction treatment is very small. Most people will know one another.
It's already interconnected.
Very, very interconnected. So, as I was saying to you earlier, one of the magazines that you had has got a particular treatment. And I said, yeah, I know, yeah, exactly. So, so, most places will know someone, or I'll know someone that knows someone. It's a very, very interconnected field, which is great. I mean, I think that's one of the great parts of it. It sometimes can be a little bit of a pain as well, but generally, it's a very, very small field, really. So Obi, so myself and Obi, we've known each other for quite a few years. I did try to get him to come and work with me in Thailand some years back, and we could never quite make it work. And
But
now it worked. I got here, and then, I was asked if we had to appoint a deputy, and Obi put himself forward. Obi put himself forward, and the first thing I said was, I don't really want to interview anyone else, but we'll interview. But Obi, I know Obi, and I know his experience. His experience in opening services, delivering services, his clinical skills, exactly the sort of person that we'd want. So, new service in India, we needed someone like him. So I was really, delighted when Obi sort of moved over here. Yeah, yeah.
like, boom.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay, the thing is that, when you talk about India, India has emerged as a leading manufacturing destination right now.
Yes.
Both in healthcare and several other sectors. Anyone would say, we're not surprised that you would say yes to come and work in India because, okay, the biryani is nice, the salad is nice, the nice things that are here. But behind or besides those things, right, that are nice about India, conducive environment.
Yes.
There should be some sort of inspiration, something that if it was not there, but when you came down, that kind of thing, say, okay, this is why I want to be in India. This is why I want to work in India. What are those things? One or two?
There's a couple of things. I mean, it's a little bit of, again, I can go back and say it's a long story, but obviously I've spent a lot of time in Asia over the last 20 years. I mean, I've spent the last 20 years in Asia, Thailand, and now here. So I like this part of the, I like this part of the world. As you alluded to, the weather, the culture, the food, all those sort of things. That's great. A couple of things that really stood out for me about coming to India was, firstly, my grandfather was in India back in the late 30s. So when I was growing up as a child, he used to talk about this wonderful place that I'd never visited. But, there was all the stories about how he loved India, blah, 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 blah. It was, so I'd always had this sort of, it's always been there. And the first place I ever visited on my own when I was without my parents, the first overseas trip I ever went, I came to India. It was the first place I ever came when I was
going to ask you, like, why did you travel across oceans?
so at 18, I travelled over, came to India, and so there was always a bit of a fascination with India. The second part was that when I had my interview, and when I had my interview, the thing that stood out to me was that the people involved, and in particular Shrenik Baldota, who is effectively is my boss, but also, you know, the promoter of Samarpan through the Baldota Foundation and MSPL Group. I found that, you know, he has a vision, that he has a passion, that he's serious, and that sort of captivated me, that, you know, someone wanted to do something. And the third part was, I'd been there, done it in Thailand. I'd done everything. I hate to say, you know, but ultimately there wasn't any more that I could really achieve in Thailand than what I'd done. And you know, I felt, you know, I think, you know, I can count myself as one of the original pioneers of treatment in Thailand for international, and coming to India and redoing that in India, it's a challenge. You know, it's India's it's a huge challenge. Now, like you said, India's this fantastic, it's the you know, this booming economy, fantastic centre of manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, even to a degree healthcare. People are starting to come over for healthcare, but this field really is still quite underdeveloped and still quite, you know, approaches to treatment are still not probably as advanced as they are in place, yeah, especially in this specific field. So the idea of sort of coming here, maybe making a difference. I think that's always the thing, you know. Well, yeah. So you know, so I mean, one of the things that myself and Obi have done is that our staff team's really young. We've purposely looked at having a younger staff team that are you know, are not necessarily you know, they're all qualified. I mean, all of our staff are you know, properly qualified. We just don't, you know, we're very selective in the types of staff that we take.
I noticed when we were coming here, there was, where's your mobile phone? You have to check the security. You have to do, oh my God, protocols.
Oh, we have lots of protocols. I mean, protocols are everything, because if something goes wrong, then as long as you've got protocols in place, you know, so we're very much on protocol. But, you know, our staff-wise, you know, developing a staff team, training them in a particular model, getting them used to working to the standards that we would work to in, say, the UK or the US, you know, is really important for us. You know, for us, we're working towards accreditation with CARF. So, you know, and we hope to achieve that in around about November, December of this year. So everything we do is geared towards trying to be better. So, and you know, and as you said about team is important. It's not just about me. It's about the whole team and the buy-in from the team. So I'm very lucky here. I've got some really good people.
We talk about India one more time.
Sure, of course.
Cultural differences and all of that. So how does Samarpan policy or goals align with the cultural differences, the landscape?
So it's a really good question, because it's so important, irrespective of whatever treatment approaches that a centre has. That, you know, even if it is you know, even though we use evidence-based approaches to treatment, everything we do is, you know, is for a reason. I mean, it's not just we pick it up. Cultural competency is so important. Understanding the nuances of culture is so important. So the way we have to work is we have to understand that, you know, working with clients in the UK is quite different to working with clients in India. So we, you know, we do get international clients as well. So we have to be able to adapt to meeting the needs of all of our clients, you know, and their cultural differences. Big thing in India, and it's the same in Nigeria. Okay, same in everywhere. But family's really important, isn't it? Family's really important.
Number one.
So, and in India, you know, family family is so important. So we work with the families as well. It's not just a case of the client comes in here, we do the work with the client.
You're working with one Indian, you're working with that person, that family, that cousin, that extended family.
Yeah, I mean, and Nigeria is a little bit the same as well with family. Probably India's a little bit even more so, but as I said to you just a moment ago, you know, when we were saying where's Obi? Obi at the moment, he's doing family sessions, family sessions. So yeah, that's important. You know, making, and also for our staff, they have to be aware of the differences. And when they get international clients, which we do, and we get a lot of clients from Africa, we get a lot of clients from Europe, and the UK and the US. So, you know, our Indian staff sometimes have to sort of adapt to the cultural differences of them as well. So, you know, being open-minded, willing to learn, being adaptable.
And you're in a good place because Pune City, Pune cars are quite easy to adapt.
Yeah.
Changes and all of that.
Yeah.
All you just need is just a little bit of tuning. Do it like this, do it like this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it really is. You know, I mean, generally, you know, I think most, you know, our team's pretty adaptable. There's been some things that they've found a little bit strange at times.
I was going to ask you the question like that.
It's like,
So, from your experience so far, how do you, you know, go about managing the challenges that comes up with working with different culture, the business here, and setting up and all of that?
So I mean, one thing that's really important is you know, is staff training. So staff training is a real core component. The other part also is staff supervision. So you know, our staff are continually undertaking training in different areas, and that also includes the operational staff as well, not just the clinical staff. So you know, the operational staff also play a big part in the whole treatment experience. So you know, there's that ongoing training for all staff, but also for us, it's around about our supervision. You know, supervision of our staff, being able to reflect on our practice, our feedback forms that our feedback that we get from our clients. There's a constant sort of reevaluation and assessment of what we're doing, and you know, the thing about these places is that they evolve. You know, how you set up and where you were a year ago, you're going to be very different in another year time, or you should be. If you're very similar to what you was like a year ago, you've probably not evolved very much. So there's a continual evolvement. Yes.
Bringing up new ideas, implementing.
Yes.
And also the government is quite supportive when it comes to doing new things. And even if you have some new inventions, you can just go about like.
Yeah, I mean, we're really lucky in terms of the organisation that, you know, they're really supportive. And in particular, Shrenik is really very, very supportive of, you know, our staff training and you know, how we've gone about stuff. I very rarely do I get told, no, you can't have that. So
as long as you have something good to offer.
As long as there's a good reason for it, it's okay. And you know, I think, you know, that's been really helpful. Yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. I mean, I'm pretty pleased. You know, we've just been open just over 2 years, so we opened the end of March 2022. So it's just officially open. When we first took our first batch of clients was sort of March 2022. So we've had about 150 clients in now in the first 2 years.
How did you do that?
Wow. So,
okay, that's
yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good so far.
Well, if you are with us up to this stage, we are going to the phase 2 of the interview,
Yeah.
and it's going to be about the company. And you want to know about Samapan and where this awesome, wonderful, world-class rehabilitation, mental health, addiction treatment facility is. When I was coming up here, I saw swimming pools, I saw several things, I saw wonderful staff. And from this video, you can see everything is cool. So you want to just come and take care of your mental health. You want to just forget about thinking about what is it called? Stigma. They call it there.
Stigma.
And don't worry about stigma. Don't worry about the paisa. There's a paisa in India. Don't worry about too much about the paisa or the dollar or the currency. Just come on. Feel free and jump on your bike, hop in, get on the flight, come down here. So let's go ahead with the second phase of the interview. It's going to be about the company. You're going to learn a lot right now. Stick and stay with us. And I'm very serious about it. Thank you. Okay, please, I would like you to just tell us what is Sermaphan? Okay, now, from your words, what is Sermaphan exactly? And what sets this company apart from other treatment centers? And how do you maintain your leadership position right now? Because you said in Thailand, you're one of the people that established, right?
Yes.
Yes, the pioneers. Now you're coming to India, and
Yes.
it's almost like a green...
The green field.
A green field.
Yes.
So you're still almost like becoming the person who's going to have the best facilities here. So tell us how you are keeping up with being the leader in this industry, and what is this company all about?
Okay, so I mean, you know, Sermaphan is a I mean, we're a primary residential treatment service. So for people with substance use disorders and process addictions. So you know, we cater for. We have a capacity here of I've got to get this right, 27 beds. So we can take up to 27 clients here at any one time. So far we've been working in phases where we've slowly building up the census. So we're probably in our second phase at the moment. We're not close to 27, but we're sort of, you know, we're up in the mid-teens now. Generally, is our sort of our census now. The idea here really is that it was to develop a premium international standard rehabilitation centre.
The word is premium.
Not luxury, premium.
Premium.
Because luxury sounds like a hotel. Now, you know, the idea really is that previously a lot of Indians have gone overseas for treatment. A lot of Indians still will go overseas for treatment.
You can't stop them. You just have to do your best, yeah.
And that's fine, you know, we're not for everyone, but the idea is that we are able to start to offer something that they may have in the past travelled to or travelled for. They can now do it here in India. As I say, we are we're an international rehab that happens to be located here in India.
Pune, Maharashtra in India.
Pune, Maharashtra. And we're continually looking to sort of improve our service. We've been awarded a Centre of Excellence accreditation from the Gorski Synapse Corporation. We achieved that last month. That was for the implementation of the Gorski Synapse relapse prevention model, and also the training of all of our clinical staff in that model. So all of our staff are also trained and certified in that model. It's probably there's really sort of two main areas of relapse prevention, and Gorski is probably the most famous sort of model of relapse prevention. So all of our clinical staff are trained in that model. So we're constantly trying to sort of make us look a little bit different. Hence, I was talking about accreditation. You know, we're working towards a USA accreditation. Of course, we have the licensing from the Indian government and the Maharashtra State Authority to be a mental health provider, etc. But we want to sort of go a little bit further than that.
You've already gone further than that already. Just anyone who wants the service from any part of the world, be you in America, in Asia, in Australia, in Africa. And I heard you mention that you already have lots of clients from Africa.
We have.
Yeah.
Even Nigeria.
I'm considering to come here here and just have some
Even
wise cognitive behavior. What do you call that? Cognitive what?
cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah. The one we're going to have
Yeah.
a chat, and I'm going to tell you how I should be walking, I should be sleeping. I like that. So, if you need the best, I would say the premium rehab center. You just know where to come to. Samapan. Okay, let me show you Samapan. Just look over here. It's right here. Samapan. You just need to come here. Thank you very much for that. So, going forward, when anyone reads about Samapan, okay, there are two terms that comes to play.
Okay.
Two terms. One is holistic care approach to addiction treatment. Holistic. This is not halfway. This is not partial. Holistic care approach to addiction treatment. And the second one that comes to play is evidence-based programs
Yes.
and practices.
Yes.
So I just wanted to elaborate first and elaborate the second
Sure.
point.
Sure.
And tell us the importance of these two things in long-term recovery and how you ensure that Samapan keeps up with its words. Because integrity is the most important thing here. When I say I am premium, I have to really be premium at all
Yes.
times. When I say
Yep.
I'm the best, I have to be the best at all
Correct.
times. So
Correct.
tell us about it.
So, I mean, in terms of doing what we say on the tin, so what we advertise on the tin is what we deliver. I mean, everything that we've got on our website, our marketing material, we do. It's not a case of we do this and we don't, and that does happen. Places say they do stuff and they don't necessarily do it, but we do. Integrity is really important because you can get away with it maybe for a short period of time, but ultimately people will start to realise that actually what you're saying you're delivering is not what you're delivering. So the integrity part is really important. It's really
You lose the trust of
yeah, and I mean, I've worked in this field for a long time now, as has Obi, so integrity is everything to us, I mean, I think my longevity in the field probably speaks volumes. I mean, if I didn't have integrity, I wouldn't probably have been in this field for the length of time that I have been. Now, in terms of sort of when we talk about holistic, I hate that word, by the way, but but it's a very overused word. But the way we look at treatment here for clients is we use a psychosocial, spiritual model of treatment. So we look at, as you say, it's looking at the whole being. All right, so the whole being. So we have to. Exactly, and the idea is to look at all of these quadrants of a person and to address all of the quadrants, and that part comes with good assessment, good treatment planning, and also having a range of therapeutic interventions within the program. So everything in here, from the point of when someone comes in, they have their assessment, their psychological assessment, they have their health assessment, they have their psychiatric assessment, they have their dietitian consultation, they have their history of drug and alcohol use assessment, and then we start to develop their treatment plan with them individually, and the client comes up with their plan with their therapist. We identify the area. Yeah, with their consent. Everything has to be collaborative. Yeah. All right. Prescriptive treatment is so dated. It's so dated. The days of you come in and you're told you will do this, you will do that, you will do this. That's a very, very dated approach. So the idea is that we look at all of the areas. Our staff team are continually involved in the whole process. So it's a multidisciplinary team approach. It's not a case of one person makes a decision, that we all have inputs in how, into what we do with each client. So we don't miss out on stuff. It's really important. And we have a range of interventions here. We have a fully equipped gym, we have personal training, we have massage, we have Reiki, we have meditation, we have yoga, we have EFT, we have EMDR, we do psychoeducational groups, we do relapse prevention, smoking cessation. You know, there's a whole range of stuff that we have in place throughout. So the idea is we use all the evidence-based stuff as well. So things like cognitive behavior therapy, relapse prevention, etc., etc.
And when you said that your team, everyone is involved in the treatment process, so it's a good sign, because for a company to be successful, the team has to have some certain level of ownership.
Yes.
And they have to align.
Yes.
Having ownership and being able to work as a team,
Yes.
collaboratively.
Yes.
Even if you're just an admin person, you know your role. You are operational, you know your role. You are clinician, you know your role. So it's a good sign that everyone is working towards the same goal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for us, I mean, every day, I mean, we have two clinical meetings per day, every morning and every afternoon. So the staff that come in the morning and the staff that come in the afternoon, there's a handover. Anything that sort of, you know, any issues with clients, as discussed, anything that we need to go through, anything we need to review. We do case management once a week, which with the whole team. So, you know, there's this constant thing. Now, you know, it's therapy led. We're therapy, you know, we're very therapy led. And interestingly, interestingly, some of our staff had worked in treatment centres previously here in India, and their experience was that they were not allowed to have an opinion. They were basically told, you will do this, you will do that.
Why would that be?
Because that's how it's been. You know, that's how it's been. You know, so for them, all of a sudden, they actually, you know, when they first came here, they were like, "What? I'm allowed to have an opinion?" And it's like, well, you're a clinician. Yeah. And it would be, well, no, you know, where we worked before, it's like, you know, we would, the psychiatrist would tell us what we had to do, and that was it. And it was like, well, you know, we're not going to work like that. We work as every single person has an input, a valuable input, irrespective of their position, whether they're a director, whether they're a support worker, complementary therapist, the psychiatrists, they all have equal standing in that clinical team.
There's a saying I know, they used to say, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Go together, yeah, exactly.
Speaking of long-term recovery, because when you spoke, I asked you the question about holistic care approach and evidence-based.
Yes.
So these things come together to play a role in assuring or ensuring long-term recovery. So speaking of long-term recovery, can you share one or two success stories from Sampan and highlight the impact of your treatment programs on individuals and the families in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I have to say is that there is no treatment set, there's no rehab that can or should be guaranteeing outcomes. Any rehab that'll say to a family, oh yeah, if you send them here, we guarantee that when they come back they're going to be great. They're lying. You know, the unfortunate part of this disorder is that, you know, it's a chronic and relapsing condition. All right, so it's not curing it, and a lot of people will say, "Can you cure my family member? Can you cure my son?" It's not really about curing people. It's about giving people the skills to be able to manage their disorder. All right, it's a little bit like, in simplistic terms, if someone has got diabetes, that they will be given a plan of care to manage their diabetes, you know, diet, taking their medication, exercise, etc., etc. Recovery from, from substance use disorders is similar in that it is around about, you know, managing it and enabling that person to manage that by doing, you know, by doing a number of things. It's not a case of just stopping drinking. You know, I think sometimes people sort of assume that recovery is just purely about like stopping drinking. There's a lot more than that. I mean, it's around about, you know, improving family relationships. It's about, you know, improving health, mental health, you know. There's so many parts, so many moving parts to this, you know, and each person's recovery is different. You know, I mean, people will define their own path of recovery, you know, and I think that's really important. Success stories, there's been multiple, you know, we've had some, you know, we had a young lady, I'm just sort of, you know, just sort of thinking now, you know, we had a young lady that was in treatment here around about, it's probably about 18 months ago, and had been in multiple treatment centres previously. Had been to Thailand, had been to several places here in India. Now, you know, they came here, they did some really good work, they left, they had follow-up care, they had a few ups and downs, they struggled a little bit, you know, when they first sort of came out, and they had a few struggles, but they've continued to stay in touch. That person has done exceptionally well, is now going to study psychotherapy in London in a few months' time. You know, completely turned their life around, you know.
That is an excellent success story.
Yeah.
So from being a patient to being a doctor now.
Well, they're gonna train as a psychotherapist. So, you know, and myself and Obi have been saying, well, you know,
Excuse me,
I'm hoping they're going to come back here and work.
Before you go ahead, in my place, when you do something amazing, they used to do like give an applause. Congratulations.
But you know, there's been, you know, I think for me, one of the greatest parts of this, and I mean, I've just given you one example, but there's multiple examples, and it's when a family member sort of says, thank you, you know, thank you, you know, our life has changed, you know, and you know, that's the beauty of this. I know that we do make an impact. I know that.
That's the motivation you need.
Yeah, you know, but I can't take credit for people's own recovery. Does it make sense? Well, you know, the fact is that if someone does really well, it's not really necessary. I've only, you know, our team have facilitated a process, but that person, they're the ones that have actually done it. I can't turn around and say, oh, they've done it because of me. All right, we've helped them along that journey. We've facilitated that process. It's not because of me. It's because they've taken that journey. They've taken that step. They've put into place. They're the ones that are doing it. I go back to this book here. It says recovery is a verb. You know, and you know, recovery is a verb.
Look over here, please.
All right, fantastic book, by the way. One of our colleagues, Roland Williams. You know,
where can we buy a copy of this?
I've got some for sale here, but it's also available. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
All right, so
and
yeah.
What's the name? The ID?
It's called Recovery is a Verb by Roland Williams, and yeah, it's available on Amazon, and probably yeah.
And if I can find it online somehow, can I call a phone number or something like that? To get it, because you have a copy here in Pune, I can.
You can purchase a copy here. You can call Sam and we've got some copies.
Yeah, just call Sam. There's a landline. We'll share it right here. Just pick it up. Here
Yeah. Or just come to our website and, you know. But yeah, I think, you know, the whole idea is that, you know, we're just part of someone's journey, and it's just wonderful when we get these beautiful messages or emails of people doing really well, you know. Unfortunately, you know, some people really struggle. The idea, you know, but, you know, some people really struggle. I mean, we'll always be there to help where we can, you know, and stuff. That's part of it. Some people blame us when things go wrong. So you know, I mean, it's not. Well, you know, I mean, I look back and sort of over the years, and you know, and I sort of, you know, being abused and having death threats is sort of all goes with part and parcel of the unfortunate underbelly sometimes of.
Just call them threats.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
People get upset, frustrated, angry, whatever it is, you know. But I think, you know, I mean, I've worked with, I don't know now, in this field alone, probably, you know, 5,000-6,000 clients over a period of time. You know, it's a significant amount of people.
Yeah.
So,
I think about three things. If you want to succeed as, what do I call you? Your title.
I'm the director of residential services.
Okay, you want to succeed as?
Director of residential services.
Yeah, you have to look at three things. First of all, you have to work on improving your skills, gaining the required knowledge, and I would say certifications that are required.
For sure.
And second thing, you need to work with integrity. Okay, be truthful with the people you are dealing with. It's not just about the short-term benefit; it's about the long-term
Yes.
benefit. And then the third thing which I learned right now, you can guess.
Go on, no.
Okay, let me say it.
Go on.
Be selfless. Selfless. What I mean selfless is that, okay, you've helped someone to achieve a remarkable progress in journey of healing.
Yes.
But you still say, okay, it's not me who did it. It is you who did it. So I would say share the responsibility through the recovery and also sharing the glory.
Yeah. I mean, there are three key things. I think there's one more I'd like to add.
Okay, please add.
And I think that is something that is really important, is to be able to reflect on your own practice and on what you do, but also, you know, listen and take feedback and understand that sometimes, you know, I don't always get it right. I think I look back and there's been times where I've not always got it right, and I have, you know, and it's not because I didn't want to get it, you know, it's, you know, I've made mistakes over the years, and I try not to make the same mistake but, you know, own your mistakes as well, learn from them, you know, so.
Make mistakes, but learn from them.
Yeah.
That's the quote of the day. Make mistakes, but learn from them. Quote by who?
Me.
Martin Peters, let's go ahead. I just wanted to explain to us.
Yes,
me, okay,
sure.
Personally to me.
Okay, yeah, please.
How does Semapan contribute to, you know, reducing the stigma surrounding addiction and mental health issues in society?
So, I think, you know, one of the things that we've started to do is we've started to do workshops for organisations, corporates, schools. Also, sort of, we've done some webinars. We're doing podcasts now. You know, we attend various events. There's still quite a lot of stigma around mental health and addiction in India, and a lot of people have a lot of preconceived ideas as to what rehab is. It's going to be a process. It's going to take time. I mean, I look back and say, you know, even when I was growing up, you know, and we sort of go back to like the sort of the late 70s, early 80s, people spoke in hushed tones about the person that might have a drink problem, or, you know, he's an alcoholic, or he's gone to the loony bin.
Once you go to
You-
the
yeah.
center, you are mad.
Yeah, you know, so there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of sort of idea. I mean, what's really funny is that a lot of people say to us, oh, I'm, you know, I don't want people to know I'm in a rehab. I mean, we sort of say, but probably everyone around you in your community know that you've been drinking.
They know already, so
They
where
know
are
that
you
you,
from?
exactly, you know, they all probably know that you already have a problem with your alcohol or whatever. That's probably well known even within your family. So why would you be ashamed about going
And
to
one
rehab?
family knows one family, one
Yeah,
family knows one family. It's a whole other large community.
it's so interlinked, isn't it? So, but the stigma's there, and I understand that, and that will take time. I think my experience so far is that the younger generation now, the generations that are coming through particularly sort of the younger, sort of the psychologists and the mental health professionals that are coming into the field now, they're going to be the people that are going to make the big difference. I think they're the people that are going to be able to reach out. They're the people that are sort of starting to break down the stigma. They're the people that are starting to have conversations that people have found difficult. There's some really talented young psychologists and mental health professionals here in India, that are challenging the old ways of working and stuff like that. And I think, these are the people that will make it. We've got a couple of really talented young people here that are working, and I believe that they will have long careers in this field, and I believe that hopefully they're going to be in years to come they'll be sat in this chair. The idea is eventually they're not going to need Martin to come over to India. There's going to be people that are going to be coming up through. There's some really, as I say, it's going to change. It is changing.
The industry is promising. The industry is promising.
Yeah.
There are people who we are looking forward to taking charge, because as long as you are growing, as long as the world is getting older,
Yes.
people are going to go to the other side. People are going to come to this side.
Yes.
So being a leader, and a true leader, is having the sense of someone has to take over my seat someday.
There has to be.
There has to be. It's a natural thing. So you can't even stop it.
It has to be.
Okay, in your experience, of course, every industry is advancing, as we have said, and the world is getting older. Okay?
Yes.
So this industry which is getting older, and can you remember any sort of advancements in this rehabilitation industry that has influenced your company's practices in a positive way?
I think in a generic, I'm probably going to have to speak in a broader sense. I think the thing, if you go back sort of 20 years ago, the approaches to substance use disorder treatment was still, still very much focused on 12-step recovery. That, you go to AA, you go to NA, there was a whole, that was really what a lot of the modality around treatment was based on. I think what we've seen, particularly in the last 20 years, is the recognition that mental health plays a significant part in substance use disorder. That bringing in approaches to treatment like CBT, trauma focused or trauma informed approaches to treatment. The treatment's moved on, it's evolved from the old way of just doing it. There was an idea that, I think if you go back, and I had, like, my colleague Roland was here not long ago from the US, and he sort of said, probably go back 25, 30 years ago, 70 to 80%, well, probably 80% of the people that were working in the field of substance use disorder were probably they were in recovery themselves. He said, like, when he qualified, and when he started in the field in 1985, the only qualification that he needed, and this is in the US, the only qualification he needed was to be in recovery. That was it. Now you look at the US. You look at the US now.
US.
This is in the US. All right. So in the US, we're talking 40 years ago now, yeah. But the only prerequisite was that you needed to be in recovery yourself.
Do I have to just smoke, get into recovery?
And you could be he said, I remember he said to me, I came out 6 months later, he said, I got given a card that said counsellor. He said, I didn't know what I was doing. But, it's evolved. If you look at, Roland's like significantly qualified now. He's done a raft of, and I think, the whole idea now is that, learning, qualifications, those things, you can't just offer one thing. You can't just offer my own personal recovery and hope to transfer that to someone else. That's not what treatment's about. Offering the hope and all of that stuff is really cool and it's really helpful. But that alone is not gonna. It's not.
It
That's
used to
good.
be experience-based, but I think now it's scientific-based.
Yeah, we've moved on. I mean, it's moved on. I think the industry, or I hate using the word industry, but the it's evolved a lot. The idea, I mean, if you look around this facility, the environment, it's beautiful, it's comfortable, people are treated, humanely, people are treated, with respect, with dignity. Most people that come in here, they've had enough shame and stuff already. They do not need to come in and be shamed anymore. They don't need to be punished. All right,
They need to be reminded.
no, we don't need to punish. Punishing people into getting them better does not work. The idea that if I beat them or shame them or humiliate them, that they won't do it again, doesn't generally work.
No, it doesn't work. It used to be like grandmothers used to scold the kids. Cha, cha, cha. You have to stop. You have to stop doing
And then you still went and did it.
But the baby will still go back.
And then you still went and did it.
And this time the baby will learn how to just do it and hide.
Yeah. So, I mean, the idea of having an environment like this, making it comfortable, serving good food, comfortable beds, that's important. That's important to the clients as well. They need, most clients need a little bit of TLC as well. I'm not saying that we're really strict. We have strict rules. We have, we're very demanding of our clients. And for some clients, they find it too hard. Some clients are like, oh, it's too much like hard work. Well, if it's too much like hard work here, then it's going to be really hard when you go out. If you can't do it in here, you're not going to be able to.
You need discipline.
Yeah.
It's not being hard. It's just
Yeah.
you have to be under the discipline. Because when you were outside and you had all the freedom, you were just doing a lot of things. And
Exactly.
it has resulted into what is happening right
Exactly. So we have a structure, we have rules, we have expectations, all of those types of
now.
things.
I was reading about your this place. I was thinking, okay, if I come to Samarkand, I come to a new comfort zone. But now I'm seeing that there's no comfort zone.
It's a
discipline zone.
it's comfortable, but it's going to be uncomfortable as well.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortably
As long as you follow the disciplines and protocol, it becomes comfortable.
Yeah, I've got the utmost respect for any client that sort of comes in and does this and really puts their effort into it. I've got the utmost respect. Sometimes clients come in and they expect us to do it for them, and that's not going to happen. Sometimes we have clients and they sit there for a whole month and don't really do much other than that maybe they're waiting for some epiphany or some bolt of lightning to come out. This is hard work. This is hard work.
Indians to come and then talk to them in the
I don't know, but this is damn hard work. This is really damn hard work. Yeah.
Okay. Just because when I walked in here, I saw several cameras. Here is on the serious scrutiny.
There's one up there. I think it's one over there.
I'm a cybersecurity professional apart from this. So when I walked in the scan, what's going on here? What's going on? So that's one of the technologies, of course, I see that. So I just want to know what kind of technologies do you have in here or do you make use of? And yet, if it is allowed to be shared. And then, do you think, additionally, do you think that technology is beneficial or detrimental in the context of rehabilitation?
I think technology has a part. Okay. Obviously, basic technologies that we have in here are things like,
What I said when I did like this was, if it is not a secret.
Well, I'm not making a secret of our surveillance system. Okay, obviously clients are aware that there's cameras. I think we've got about 100 cameras here. So
Well, no.
okay. and that's really for for safety purposes really. The second part is we use technology for our health records. All of our health records are all electronic health records, EHRs. So we have our own system that we built in house. And then we use tech as well for online online meetings. Yeah, we have to do meetings online. Some of our family therapy sessions that we do, because the families are overseas or they're in a different part of India and they can't come here, then we facilitate that through tech. So and likewise also our continued care aspect. That that can either be done face to face in our outpatient clinic in Mumbai, or if they're not in Mumbai, they can do it through the through tech.
It's my first time up here in Mumbai,
so we have an outpatient clinic in Mumbai, so which is mental health and addiction. So
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So we are almost there. I'm very glad that you're with us up to this stage, and if you have your tea, take a seat now, or I'm just telling the viewers.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
Take a seat now, just walk around. We don't need jet lag and all of that. So, going forward, just tell us, do you have any plans of expansion or building new facility, maybe in China, maybe in Hong Kong, or maybe in Tamil Nadu? Because, see, Tamil Nadu is nice, South India is nice.
There's so many beautiful places in India, isn't there?
Yeah. Goa. Very nice also. Any plans of expansion?
Our take is that we have plans in place to develop our services and to expand. That is ongoing at the moment. And I think those plans will probably be actioned within the next sort of 12 months, and we will offer some other specialist services as well. So yeah, that's all in the plan. Yeah.
One more thing. I just wanted to close one of my eyes to open one and ask you, because you have to be ready to answer this.
Go on.
Every business requires money, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, how expensive is Samarkand?
Well, I mean, expense is a difficult word to define. I mean, I think
maybe it's not expensive, then it is affordable.
Well, by Indian standards, we are premium. We're for 1 month we're 6.5 lakh. Okay. All right, 650,000 rupees.
Just for today's, it's not for tomorrow, because when you're coming tomorrow, dear viewer, you have to ask again, please.
Yeah. So 650,000 rupees for 1 month. Okay. That is a single room. If it's a shared room, it's 3.5 lakhs, so it's 350,000 rupees for 1 month. Now,
for how long has this price been like this, or is it going to adjust with inflation?
Well, I mean, personally, I feel that what we offer is actually cheap. But I think in the context of India at the moment, we're seen as a little bit more expensive. But as I say, everything that we say we do, we offer. We deliver everything we offer on the tin. I don't think there's anything that's necessarily that comparable to what we offer here. I'm very, very proud of the work that our team sort of carries out, and
they pay for it. They get what they pay.
They get what they pay for, and I mean they get high quality accommodation, fantastic food, I mean they get a very full structure. They get qualified staff. All of their clinical needs are met. There's not anything, what you get here is what you would get. If I went to a treatment centre in the UK or US, that's what I would get. If I went to one of the premium centres in Thailand, this is exactly what you would get. This is no different.
And the person would get 25 years of experience, professional service, such as you can only get from Mr.
well, Mr. Martin and Mr. Obi. I'm looking at, I mean, myself and Obi have been around a long time. So, I think, we've got, we've got a lot of experience, and particularly working specifically in this field, delivering these types of services at a premium level as well. So yeah, I think that, cost-wise, I think it's great. I mean, particularly for people travelling from overseas. I mean, if I was to go to the UK and go to treatment in the UK, and come to somewhere like this, it would cost me probably £20,000. So, whereas the equivalent price is it's around about £7,000. So, it's a third of the cost. If this is in the US, you'd probably be looking at around about $35,000. It's a third of the, so we're looking at like a third of the cost of what you would.
So you're charging about $10,000 or there.
We're about $8,000. We're about $8,000. It's
So
about
let's talk about it in dollars because
$8,000.
it's now going to be about 8,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
So make the proper arrangement. And
So-
when you're coming here, you get what you paid for, and it's not about expenses. It's about long-term recovery and professional service.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes.
And very good facility.
And a good
We're
facility.
going to show them the facility.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, the last question for the day, and we can let you just go ahead and enjoy your day. But if you leave now, you will miss the most interesting part of this interview. It's going to be about the touring.
I can do the tour.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're going to see the facilities, you're going to see so many nice things. And so the last thing I would like to ask you is just, can you advise us, like, okay, assume that I'm an individual, or with my team we are family.
Yes.
So what advice will you give to individuals or families seeking help for addiction, and how can they best support their own recovery journey?
Look, the first thing I would say to anyone, any family or friend that has got someone struggling, the first step is pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone and have a chat.
And call who?
And call us.
Yes,
Simple as that.
yes.
Call us. We'll have a chat, and maybe we're not the right service for them, but if we're not, we'll probably make some suggestions. If we are, then, we can help them facilitate a process of helping their loved one or them. The important part, and this is still and I'm glad you mentioned the family and their own recovery, is that most families, we recommend that our clients and their families, we offer, that they have therapy as well, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to go. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen within the family, a lot of education that needs to go on in the family as well. So the idea is that we always try and involve the family from the outset. And pick up the phone, have a chat. If you don't speak English and Hindi speaker, we have Hindi speakers. So and we're always able to help that. So English and Hindi is easily covered. I don't speak any other languages. My Thai is appalling, so don't even go there.
No, we don't expect you to stress yourself. You employ the people who can do that. You have the team who can do this job. So, thank you very much for being with us today, Mr. Martin Peters. I call you Peters because I should call you Martin.
Martin, just Martin. I just like being called Martin, really.
I've heard you say you hate two things. Holistic. You don't like that word, holistic. Yeah, but let me tell you one thing. Although it's overused word, but I'll tell you that there is a new version of holistic service you can get in Samafat. Just ask us about it. Me or you?
What's that?
They're going to ask you. The client, they have to ask you, or they're going to ask me.
Yes.
Who would they ask? Because now I think I'm interested in want to answer the questions to the client actually.
So the client wants to know a little bit.
About Samarkand, yes. You
Come.
can ask me, yeah?
Yeah, can ask you.
Me?
Come and ask me. Look, one thing we always do, happy to have a phone call, happy to do a video call. Often families or people that are interested that live in India, initially they come and visit. Happy to do that, completely transparent right from the point that, you know, it's not a case of pay your money and come. If you want to have a comment, you know, some people, you know, they decide they're coming before they even come here. But, you know, if people want to come and have a look, that's absolutely fine. Our website, we've got a 360 video. You can do a walk around. You can do a walk around the whole centre on a 360 video and stuff.
The drone view is amazing.
And the drone view, yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Very cool. I saw the buildings. I saw the.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on here? Is it a resort or is it? And I came here and said, oh, it's kind of a resort.
Yeah.
It is a resort.
Well, it was. It was a resort. It was a resort. Yeah.
Yes. And in my mind, I'm always trying to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we're going to go ahead right now with pouring to check all the nice places right around here. I'm going to show you the swimming pool though.
Okay.
So many other things. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.